Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. I'm Whitney White, Director of Marketing for North America here at JCI, and we are so excited about this webinar to talk about IQ Panel 4 and IQ4 Hub. What's the difference? They look similar. How are they different? Why, right? So, couple things as we get started. Go to your GoToWebinar control panel and locate your chat or the question section, and go ahead and type in where you're from, what's the weather like, so we know that you can hear us, you can see the presentation, and that's how you are going to be able to interact with us. And we've got a lot of people joining. We've got Michael, Caleb, Craig. We've already got questions coming in. This is great. We have some really great people here that are going to take us through this presentation. We've got Kevin Woodworth, our Senior Director of Global Technical Account Management. He's probably a very familiar face. And we're so excited to have Eric here with us today. He's going to share his story about IQ Panel 4 and IQ4 Hub and what happened with all of that. He is the CEO of Capital Security. Eric, thank you for being here so much. And then in the background, we do have people answering your questions live. We've got Neil Jones. I'm sure lots of you know him. So he'll be answering your questions and keeping up with any kind of commentary you have. We'll be able to interact there. So, gosh, we have so many people on. I think we had, just around 700 people registering for the webinar. We're so excited. We've got David, Rich, Kevin from Halifax, Idaho, Ontario, Texas, all over. This is great. I'm so excited. Okay, with that, to get started, we want to do some polls to help understand where you guys are at with IQ Panel and all of that. So let's bear with me while we go through some of those. So the first poll we're going to do, we want to know whether or not you are currently buying JCI products. So are you currently using them, installing them, all of that? So go ahead and answer there live. Okay, great. It looks like majority of you guys are purchasing JCI products. Okay, perfect. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close that poll. And then the next one, tell us what you're currently installing. Are you installing, and check all that apply. IQ Panel 4, IQ4 Hub, Wi-Fi 6, Power G sensors, S-Line sensors. Help us understand a little bit of what your install it looks like. Okay, so most of you are using IQ Panel 4, small percentage using the Hub. Okay, lots of people using Power G sensors. Love to see that. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that, you guys. We've got a couple more here. The next one, do you have an IQ panel in your own home? We ask this because it'll help us understand your interaction with IQ panel and what your experience might be. So, all right, we look 60% have IQ panels in their own home. That's fantastic. I have one in my house. When I first moved in, we had a hardwired Honeywell system. That was fun to replace. So, okay, perfect. 3 more. Would you like someone to contact you about the IQ4 Hub? And who? Would you like a sales rep to contact you to dive in a little bit more details about maybe the cost, maybe what kind of deals we can work out, or would you like someone technical to reach out so you can learn the ins and outs a little bit deeper? And not yet, we're still kind of looking at it. Okay. Perfect. We still have a lot of people joining us. We have a good group. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and close that poll. Next one, excited about this one. Are you interested in receiving a free IQ4 Hub in exchange for a testimonial that I can use in marketing for social media, for maybe events, maybe a video, just kind of depends. Let me know, and in exchange, we'll give you an IQ4 Hub. Perfect. All right, last one. Thank you guys for your patience. Last poll. What is more important to you, high-end features or a lower price point? Whew. You guys, my mom's calling. Should I answer? Should we FaceTime her? Sacramento, we have somebody from Sacramento. That's where I'm from. Hello. Okay, perfect. Lots of people care about the features. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close those polls. Thanks for doing that with us, helping us understand kind of where we're at. And with that, Kevin, we'll kick it off to you and get the party started. Remember, if you have questions, comments, put it in the chat. Let's make Neil work today. Thanks, guys. Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, sure. Whitney, do you want to do one quick reminder on the
Oh,
contest that we had for this?
I totally forgot. The most important part. I totally forgot. We do have a giveaway happening today. The first 40 people to register for this webinar and attend the entire thing will get an IQ panel, IQ4 hub. And we'll talk more about the logistics of that at the end, but we're excited about that giveaway. It's huge. So yes.
Yeah, absolutely. We love nothing more than getting product in your hands. So that's
100%.
definitely part of the experience here. All right, so we're gonna kick it off. I'm gonna start with, and my computer is a little slow here. Let me see if I can get it to respond. There we go. All right, so hopefully you guys can see this. We're gonna start here with a quick history lesson. It shows kind of weird on my screen. There we go. But this really goes all the way back, to almost 10 years ago with the first generation IQ panel. Of course, then we had IQ panel 2, 2 plus. We had what kind of we internally thought of as our third generation panel. That was kind of the original IQ hub. We had IQ panel 4, our fourth generation panel, and now a variation on that IQ4 hub, which of course we're going to spend a lot of time talking about today. I want to let you inside the tent a little bit on the way that we think about these platforms. And that really is in this kind of platform mindset. And especially here on the fourth generation products, we're really looking at it from an architecture perspective. We use a Qualcomm SOM, that's a system on a module. We'll talk about that here in a couple of slides. And we really introduced this version, this latest version of the SOM on our 7-inch, kind of flagship IQ Panel 4. That's been shipping for just over a year. We launched that late last year, and it's been doing quite well in the marketplace today. And then we also take that module and we actually kind of go upstream a little bit into the IQ Pro products, which I know many of you are excited about. If you saw these at ISC West, or if you're participating in our soft launch, that's going on now. So these actually are available in limited quantity in soft launch right now, and you'll be seeing a lot from us here over the next few months, month or two, January and into February, as we go into a full launch of that product. So we're really excited about that. And eventually, down the road, you'll actually see us take it all the way to what we call IQ Fire. But in addition to really taking this module and being able to go upstream, we're also able to kind of go downstream a little bit here with what we're calling the IQ4 hub, or the lower cost version of IQ Panel 4. And that's really what we're going to focus on today, is kind of these two platforms, how they interact together, what some of the differences are, and what stays the same. Not only what's different, but what stays the same between the two. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started with a reminder on what IQ Panel 4 is. That's kind of our starting point. Of course, again, like I said, this is what we call our flagship panels, kind of these high-end features that we talked about in the poll there. This is our 7-inch, touchscreen, all-in-one HD. We're using that 8-core SOM, that Qualcomm SOM system on a module. And of course, one of the defining characteristics of IQ Panel 4 is that we have what we call dual SRF, and that's where you'll know we have Power G on board along with a legacy radio. So each panel is kind of always doing 2 frequencies. We have 2-way voice with VoLTE. We really kind of took it to the next level with better, faster range on all the different radios as we transitioned from IQ Panel 2 to IQ Panel 4. We spent a lot of time on antenna work and really making sure that this is a robust and reliable platform, that everything is kind of that faster, better, stronger mantra that you'd expect from a next generation product or a latest generation product, whether that's Power G, LTE and Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, or the Z-Wave 700. Of course, we introduced Bluetooth music streaming in addition to Bluetooth disarm that we've had for a long time. We put 4 really great speakers on it, what we call quad sound, and we introduced the IQ bass, that table stand subwoofer that goes on the back. We've got the built-in 8-megapixel camera with flex tilt, the smart mount installation system, and then it comes in either white or black. So you can kind of get this in 2 different versions. Again, kind of hoping there's something for everyone, kind of no matter the residence or the commercial application that you're looking at. So that's really IQ. I'm going to back up here. That's really IQ Panel 4, and I've got a quick video here. And I know this can be a little bit choppy sometimes on GoToWebinar. I'm hoping it comes through okay. It's about 45 seconds long, but this is a good refresher of IQ Panel 4 and kind of everything it can do. All right, so again, I hope that played okay for you. I know that can be a little choppy, but I want to take you inside the panel a little bit and show you the way that we think about it, the way that it's built. Again, we really start with this powerful computer platform from Qualcomm, Snapdragon system on a module. This gives us 4G LTE kind of built into every single panel, Wi-Fi, we call that dual path communication. We've got Bluetooth on board. We can do a Wi-Fi access point. And we really start with Android 9 and with the ability to go forward. And that's all kind of integrated to this very, kind of advanced chipset that we get from them. And so this really becomes the core operating system that drives a lot of the other features you see on the outside. On top of that, we then start to make it a security panel, right? So we start to add daughter cards, and many of you are familiar with these daughter cards on IQ Panel 4, but I'll go through them real quick. Power G is on board every single panel on IQ4. This, of course, is kind of our ultra long range kind of Uber sensor technology, right? Really much more modern than a lot of the legacy protocols that are out there. Bidirectional, military grade encryption, frequency hopping, spread spectrum technology. So just a really, really good sensor technology. And I know a lot of you guys are familiar with that already and kind of have already converted over to Power G wholeheartedly. And that'll play into what we talk about with IQ4 Hub a little bit as well here in a minute. And then we add on what we call a legacy security radio or legacy SRF, security RF. And we make this in 3 different versions. We make it in a 319 version, which of course is compatible with a lot of the old Interlogic sensors, ITI, GE Security, of course, Qualsys S-line sensors. So a lot of different sensors out there that work on that. You can get it in a 345 frequency, which is what 2GIG and Honeywell have used for a long time, and or the 433 frequency, which is the old one-way protocol from DSC. And so what this is really giving us is the ability to kind of walk into any home, take over what might be there already, while adding newer, better technology via Power G. If and when we need to do that, we have the ability to do that with this dual SRF setup that we run. We also have Z-Wave 700 on board. And actually right now we're in the middle of a changeover. We're actually changing over to Z-Wave 800 on IQ Panel 4. We've been shipping 700 for about a year. And Z-Wave is making a change. They're updating their protocols to a different chip, what we call the 800 chip. So that's kind of cutting in now. But this really gives us the ability to talk to all those automation devices that are out there, be it lights, locks, thermostats, other types of devices that are out there as well. And that's the Z-Wave on board. And then we have what we call the expansion slot. And this in the middle, we're able to really use for different technologies that have come out and about. So maybe it's a Ethernet daughter card, which we have that can snap in. Maybe it's a Zigbee daughter card that we have that we can snap in to take over Zigbee devices. But this really gives us the ability to kind of modify the hardware and leverage the flexible software through software updates to introduce new protocols over time. So we really like that expansion slot. Where we end up then on IQ Panel 4 is with what we call 3 flavors of panels. This is kind of how we sell it to you. So we end up with a gold box, a red box, a gray box. And of course you see here, all of them have Power G built into every single panel. And then you've got that legacy radio. You get to choose 319, 433, or 345. And of course you have the cellular variations as well. And so really, it kind of gives you a panel for just about every application. We've got that 8 megapixel camera that's improved over IQ Panel 2. Here you see an IQ Panel 2 disarm photo. With IQ Panel 4, we go to a wide angle lens, so a much broader viewing angle on IQ Panel 4. And then, of course, we've got the really great speakers built into the bottom of the panel as well, with 4 speakers for kind of that real loud sound, whether you're using that for, you know, doorbell interaction or voice and chime, arming, disarming, Bluetooth music streaming, whatever it happens to be, we've kind of got that built in. Now, the truth is, and kind of the point of today's webinar, is that you don't always need all of those features, right? You don't always need 4 speakers. You don't always need the panel camera. You don't always need dual SRF with Power G and a legacy radio built into every single panel all of the time. And yet when you buy IQ Panel 4, that's really what you're paying for, is for all of that hardware, all of those features kind of built in from the start. And so what we wanted to do was really leverage the same platform, the awesome fast nature of the Qualcomm chipset, all the work we had done on IQ Panel 4, but find a way to bring the cost down for many of you who aren't using all those features all the time. Also to open up new verticals, new markets like builder programs and MDU, smart apartments, or just flat out as your everyday panel. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. And Eric's going to share some of his experiences and why he chose IQ Panel 4. But as a quick overview on IQ4 Hub, so we have that same 7-inch touchscreen. We have the same 8-core SOM or system on a module. So that same kind of powerful guts are all built inside, exactly like IQ Panel 4, with the faster, better range on both Power G, on LTE and Wi-Fi, on Bluetooth. And this one actually starts on Z-Wave 800. So rather than starting at 700 and going to 800, this basically came to market right when we were already making that change. And so this one actually from day one gets the Z-Wave 800 module. We keep the Bluetooth music streaming. Now you'll notice here on the bottom of the panel, and we'll talk about this a little bit, it looks a little bit different. There's a few other visual differences here. It's not fabric on the bottom, it's actually a plastic grill. And you can kind of see it here in the picture. There's not actually 4 speakers along the bottom, there's 2. And so actually one of these is a really great speaker and the other one's actually a siren. So we kind of go from 4 to 2. That's another way that we get that cost down a little bit when you don't have to have that really kind of high quality sound. This still sounds a lot louder than an IQ Panel 2, for example. We keep the smart mount installation system, but we remove the cost. We lower the cost. And so how do we do that? Well, we take some things away. So this does not have two-way voice. This does not have a panel camera. As you see here on the front bezel, there is no camera. We removed the panel glass break, and that's due to this has 1 microphone instead of 3 different microphones. And then most importantly, we go to what we call a single security radio. So you remember the inside of that panel where it had Power G and a legacy radio. This one's going to have either or. It's either going to be Power G only, 319 only, 345 only, or 433 only. And then we don't make it in white and black, we just make this one in white. So kind of a simplified version of options here to really kind of drive down that cost and while still giving you a very robust and powerful platform to work with here. So I've got one more quick video. We're gonna go ahead and watch that, and hopefully this will give you a good overview of IQ Panel 4 Hub or IQ4 Hub.
Affordability without compromise. Meet IQ Hub, the most affordable all-in-one panel that has everything you want without compromising the quality you expect from the IQ platform. With an 8-core processor and LTE and Wi-Fi dual path, IQ Hub is lightning fast. The elegant 7-inch touchscreen looks good on the wall of your home, apartment, or small business. Whether upgrading or installing a new system, there's an IQ Hub for you. Choose from Power G only, 319 megahertz, 345 megahertz, or 433 megahertz. Built-in Z-Wave Plus controls locks, lights, and thermostats, enabling Alarm.com scenes and automation. View all cameras and answer your video doorbell through the IQ Hub or your mobile app. Connect up to 5 smartphones through Bluetooth for touchless disarming and music streaming. The Smart Mount installation system provides easy wall or table stand mounting options. IQ Hub, the most affordable all-in-one touchscreen for your security, life safety, and smart device needs.
All right, so where we end up with IQ4 Hub really then is what we would call 4 flavors of IQ4 Hub that you can order it in. And that's here in blue. You can order a Power G only panel. You can order a 319 only panel in the gold box, a 433 only in the red box, or a 345 only in the gray box. And again, we're really keeping you know, a lot of the features you know and love from IQ Panel 4 and bringing that over to IQ4 Hub, where it's still this really robust, you know, reliable security system out there. And again, I'll kind of go over a few of these again here. They're similar to what we talked about, but the 8-core SOM is the same. The LTE Wi-Fi dual path is the same. It still has a 7-inch touchscreen. It's still got all, you know, these different protocols available, not simultaneously. You choose one instead of choosing 2, basically. But lots of times we're finding that many of you have already cut over to Power G, and so you're not interested in carrying that legacy security RF radio all of the time. You're already using Power G sensors, and you don't want to pay for that legacy security radio when you're not using it. And so being able to have a Power G only panel really suits your need. You've still got the great automation support, the video, live view, live answer support, the Bluetooth support, the easy install, the easy programming, the setup wizard. So if you're a technician, you can just swap between IQ Panel 4 and IQ4 Hub, really no difference from an installation and programming perspective, which I think is important. So those are some of the differences, but I think most of us are asking, you know, what's the real difference? And, you know, I would say that the real difference is price, right? Now, we always are a little bit careful when we talk about price because everybody has a different price and you buy through different distribution and you have your own relationships. But I can tell you that depending on your IQ Panel 4 price, you know, if you're a big guy and you have really aggressive pricing on IQ Panel 4, you might save somewhere around $60 when you go to IQ4 Hub. If your volume is a little bit less on IQ Panel 4, and so your pricing maybe isn't quite as aggressive, you're probably going to save somewhere closer to $90 on IQ4 Hub. And so the savings can actually be quite significant for many of you, depending on your business model and depending on what your go-to-market is. And so this is really where I want to turn the time over to Eric. Whitney did a great job introducing Eric. He's up in Canada. He's the CEO of Capital Security. And Eric has a really interesting story, which is why we asked him to join us today and to kind of tell us his story from IQ Panel 2 to 4, what happened, where he went, how he came back. So with that, Eric, I won't steal your thunder too much, but go ahead and let everyone know kind of your story and how IQ4 Hub has made a difference for you.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. So we've, as a company, we've been in the industry a long time. We've used every manufacturer that's ADC compatible. So a big thing for us is alarm.com, obviously, especially on the back end for field service and that kind of stuff. So we've used Interlogix, 2GIG, Qualsys, all that fun stuff. So about 4 years ago, I think we switched over to IQ2 Plus or whichever variant that was. Keeping up with the however many IQ panels are is a challenge in and of itself. But we went over there, used that for a couple of years, and then along with many of you, we were really happy with the price hikes that happened about a year or two ago, and it kind of forced us away from Qualsys. So our business, we have three different elements of the business. So we have a health and wellness side, we have a commercial side, and then we have a residential side. And the majority of our residential business comes from door-to-door knocking. So commercial, great, charge whatever. We primarily use, NEO, customers paying everything up front. There's no amortization, there's no lending, there's no monitoring agreements, buying and selling of that. So your profit margins are not fixed in commercial, as I'm sure many of you know. On residential, you have out of that comes your commissions, your operations, all that fun stuff. So with us, we've been around a long time. We went to a different provider for no other reason than for cost. As long as it was compatible with alarm.com, we didn't care. Primarily, being a business owner, we have different perspective on a lot of this stuff than you'll hear from manufacturers or from integrators or any of that stuff. You know, with Qualsys or JCI or 2GIG or any of those guys are all hardware manufacturers. But none of us are in the business. We don't sell hardware. We're selling subscription services and we're selling service. That's what we sell. These guys sell us hardware, and we turn around and we sell a product and a service to a customer. So for us, what we sell is a little bit more important than what we buy, if that makes any sense. We're trying to find something that hits the right price point for us and does everything. So we went elsewhere. They came out with a new product that didn't work too hot, especially here in Canada. There wasn't a dedicated Canadian GSM radio. You know, we had very, very poor signal rating, had a lot of problems. And anyways, long story short, JCI hired someone we had previously worked with elsewhere, the territory sales manager named Cal Nashmadine. He came on board. He and the national sales manager here in Canada, Gordy Hepp, reached out to us and said, hey, I realize, you know, the price point doesn't work for you, but we have something coming out. This is what it is, and it's the hub. And for us, we're a Toyota dealership, if that makes any sense. To give a similar analogy in a different industry, we're a Toyota dealership. We don't sell Ferraris. And most residential customers don't care about a lot of the high-end features on the IQ Panel 4. So for myself, I don't even know about half the stuff that the IQ Panel 4 has that's extra to the IQ Panel 2. Like I don't need to be playing Sonos or music through my security panel. I don't want it taking my picture. I don't need all that stuff. And if you think about what we actually sell, whether it's our business or yours, if you're already using ADC, how often, just think about yourself as a consumer, how often you actually use your keypad. I think there's a place for a keypad. I know that, you know, years ago Interlogix did the zero wire thing, didn't work too well, but if you have alarm.com, if you have the app, most consumers now are sure they're interested in at least for our market, sure they're interested in security, they're more interested in video. They want video and automation, and to do that, they don't need to use their panel. They don't. They can use alarm.com as long as it's set up and it's integrated properly. That's all they need. So when JCI came out to us and said, hey, you know, we've got all this, this is what you need, this is all, or this is what the hub has, you don't need to be paying extra for glass break, 1080 pixels screen, 4 speakers, whatever else, which we didn't really want anyways. That's fine. Most customers just want a nice looking keypad on the wall. They don't care about many changes in features. If you think about even the things that you buy, you know, I've got an iPhone, I don't know which one I have, 12 or 13, and it replaced whatever iPhone I had before that. I have no idea what new features I got with my new iPhone. It just doesn't matter to me. I'm sure there's some upgraded stuff, but realistically, I'm using it day to day to send text messages, answer emails, and make phone calls, and that's it. And I'm sure there's a market segment for the high end for the IQ4, but for most people for the hub, they just want their alarm system to go on and off. They want to be able to see their cameras, and they want to be able to use their app to adjust their thermostat, answer, and whatever else it is that they need to do. So for us, when they came to us with the IQ hub, hits all of our boxes. It's cheaper, saves us money. You're saving on average $100 a deal. You're doing a couple thousand, that's a couple $100,000 in your pocket. So it makes more financial sense to us. And on the hardware side, the advantage of this, as Kevin pointed out, is I think the first IQ panel came out, what, in 2014?
Yeah.
Is that right? Something like that? More or less the guts are the same. So you're not jumping over to a new tech product or a new tech company that has something new and they now have to go through 8 years of figuring out what the problems are. Just a dumbed down version and a cheaper version of what we were using before that works. And we don't have to worry about it. It's reliable. We don't have Z-Wave failures. We don't have signaling failures. It's super easy. It's very congruent with our business model. And for us, we started using it even a little bit in commercial because at the end of the day, some customers just don't care. They don't need all the high-end stuff. And I'd say that that's the vast majority of customers aren't overly concerned about the high-end features that you get with an IQ Panel 4 over an IQ hub. It's just that simple. And if they want to pay less, or even if they pay the same and you pay less for the hardware, it seems like a pretty easy transition.
Hey, I really appreciate that, Eric. It's really nice to hear your perspective on your business, especially as a business owner, and the market that you operate in. So I really appreciate that. And look, that's exactly what IQ4 Hub was designed to do, right? It was designed to kind of check all the boxes that you need and not check the boxes that you don't. Now, of course, we still make both panels. We'll happily continue to sell you IQ Panel 4. I was looking at the poll here. I think it was about 60-40, close to maybe 55-45 of those that like the high-end features. But that means there's about half of you that said the lower price is more important. And I think it just illustrates that you know, we want to be able to give you options, be flexible enough to give you a product offering that meets your needs in your marketplace. And certainly for Eric, IQ4 Hub made the difference between using an IQ product or not. And so that's certainly something we're super happy about, and really appreciate you being on today, Eric. And Eric's going to stay on here with us as well the rest of the time and comment where needed. If you guys have any questions, please put those in the chat. And I would say, if you don't know what your price is on IQ4 Hub, if you're not on what we call an SPA or a special pricing agreement for either IQ Panel 4 or IQ4 Hub, put that in the chat. We'll have someone reach out to you. One of our territory guys will reach out here and make sure that we get you set up with where you need to be so that you can be competitive in your marketplace. And that's what's most important to us. We really feel like, yes, we design products for the end user, but most of the time we're designing products for you. And you are our customer, and so we think about that every day, whether it's integrations with alarm.com on the dealer portal, whether it's creating new products that help you be more competitive in your marketplace, or other things. That's certainly what we're here to do. With that, I want to spend the rest of the time here kind of going through some of the features that both panels have. So we've talked about what IQ Panel 4 has. We've talked about how IQ4 Hub, excuse me, is different. You've kind of seen some of the flagship features. You've seen how 4 Hub is different. Now let's talk about some of the features that are the same between both product models, no matter which one you happen to choose for your business. So one of the big ones that Eric touched on is video cameras, and especially video cameras on the screen. When we have a doorbell talking to the screen, we're able to answer a doorbell, an alarm.com doorbell directly from the screen. We call that live answer. So again, you can do that on IQ4 or IQ4 Hub. Both panels retain that feature. We can see, and this is a quick video here. This actually is my house. You see a nice little kick there from the FedEx person, gently putting the package on the porch. We've got live view with audio directly on the panel. Again, both panels support this. You can still do IQ remotes. They support live video on the remote as well. And of course, the all-important Power G. And this is really a defining factor of IQ products, especially, and Neo and other products in our product family. But we like to say range matters, and Power G is just a phenomenal technology. And so again, we're really excited about continuing to offer Power G and having that Power G only panel on IQ4 Hub, where so many of you have said loud and clear, hey, I'm a convert. I'm only putting in Power G from here on out. Forget about the legacy stuff. I don't do that or mess with that anymore. I really want the best, and I like the reliability and the range from Power G. We definitely see that as a difference maker for you and for your customers. One of the other really unique things that I think we have is a lot of different types of hardwire compatibility. So there's a lot of hardwire systems out there, or a lot of commercial applications that need hardwire or already have hardwire. You want to take it over. Of course, we can do that in a couple of different ways. We can do it on what we call the S-line protocol. So again, if you had a panel that supported 319.5, these would be the hardwire modules for you. Maybe more so, my favorite is the Power G versions of the hardwire modules that we have. Again, if you have any of the IQ Panel 4s or the IQ4 Hub that supports Power G, then this is going to be the route you're going to want to go. And we have, two different versions of this PowerG hardwire module now. We have one in a smaller can. This was kind of the original one we introduced. And we have one in a larger can. This larger can actually has a lot more wiring space. It actually has room for 4 zone expanders, not just 2. And, one of the really unique things about these PowerG hardwire modules is they are, essentially pretty robust hardwire systems with core bus inputs for hardware keypads, 2-wire and 4-wire smoke compatibility, CO compatibility. They have PGMs or programmable outputs to trigger gates and relays and all kinds of stuff. So really, really robust hardwire capability, or I should say hardwire to wireless capability over PowerG that feed into both the IQ Panel 4 and the IQ4 hub. You don't lose any of that. We've got some great secondary keypad options. We can do 3 IQ remotes. Those are the Wi-Fi version of the IQ remotes, or we can do up to 5 of the PowerG keypads, either the WS9 or the HS2 that you're familiar with. And I don't have a slide for it, but I can't help but mention it. We, of course, are kind of smashing these 2 products together. I know many of you know about it, and it's highly anticipated. And we're coming out with a PowerG touchscreen. It's taken us a little longer than we thought. It's been delayed a few times, but it is coming here at the first of this next year. Let's call it January, February. That'll coincide with the 4.3 release on the IQ Panel 4 line of products. So again, that's either going to be on the IQ Panel 4 or the 4 hub. We'll support that the same, so no difference there. We of course have the Bluetooth disarm, pair up to 5 smartphones. Both products support this, being able to kind of automatically disarm based on your proximity. And they both have dual path connectivity for great redundancy and speed, communicating to alarm.com over LTE and Wi-Fi both. We also have a lot of built-in language translation. And I saw someone on here from Germany today. We've got people on from all over the world. And I think we're up to, I can't remember, it's either 16 or 17 different languages that are supported on the panel. Everything from English to French to Icelandic to Hebrew. And that's built right into every single SKU, and you can just toggle it between those languages, which is really nice based on your area where you happen to be. A couple other really robust features. We have partitions with global arming. So both panels support up to 4 partitions. We can do different types of global sound distribution. We even have Bluetooth disarming dedicated by partition. So if you want, someone's phone to Bluetooth disarm partition 2 only instead of partition 1, you can do that, which is pretty cool. We have something we call a home control page. We're getting into lots of new marketplaces where not everybody is selling security all the time. Sometimes they're just selling what we call an automation only system. An IQ4 hub is a perfect example where maybe it's MDU or smart apartments where you're leading with automation and maybe adding security later. The ability to actually toggle the UI or change the software on the panel to be representative of the features that are sold in that home, meaning you can turn off the security page, you can turn off the panic buttons, you can turn off everything security related and turn it into an automation only system just through a couple simple checkboxes in programming. And then we can have a different home screen that actually just shows automation devices like lights, locks, and thermostats instead of having a security system. And then later, if that customer ever wants to upgrade to security, you can simply turn that right back on, pair sensors like normal, and they're kind of off and running, which is nice. Same thing on the wellness side. Eric mentioned that you have a healthcare wellness business. And lots of times older people get confused by the different touch screens. They don't want to see an arming page. They don't want to see emergency buttons. They don't want to even have to disarm after an alarm event. So maybe you sold them a panic pendant or one of our fall pendants, and the panel goes into alarm, but you don't want them to have to actually remember a 4-digit code or disarm the system after that type of event. We can actually put the panel into a wellness mode where it acts like a traditional PERS style system. And there's a panic button on the screen, but there's also just the mobile panic buttons they can use. And the system actually behaves differently. It doesn't have to be disarmed after an alarm event. In the case of IQ Panel 4, we can actually enable this check-in, check-out feature that takes a picture of the caregiver. Maybe they've got a nurse that checks on them once a day or once a week. They can check in, check out. Those pictures and the notifications can go to the kids or other caretakers. And in the case of IQ4 Hub, where there is no camera, we still kept that feature on board. So it's not going to take a picture of the caretaker, but it does log the code that the caretaker used and when they check in and when they check out. And so you can actually know who's kind of coming and going at the elderly patient's home, which is kind of cool. We've got scenes on the panel. These sync directly with alarm.com. Even the icons and the colors sync. So if you create a scene on your alarm.com app you pick a custom icon and a custom color and define a custom behavior, that actually pushes down dynamically to the panel, so you can run that right from the panel itself or from your app, which is pretty cool. We've got of course, our easy install wizard, which we love so much. And again, this goes back to that installation experience. Whether you're installing an IQ Panel 4 or an IQ4 Hub, it's going to be the same easy, consistent installation experience across the board. We love our onboard diagnostics, especially on the Z-Wave side. This is kind of something that we pioneered to present this information directly on the screen for the installer, to kind of make the invisible visible and show him what's going on in the network, give him the tools to diagnose it properly and to design a correct Z-Wave network, which is pretty cool. Same on all the different system health menus that we have, whether it's Wi-Fi or cell or dual path or the complete panel test. All those things can be run directly from both screens. Of course, we've got our really robust PowerG portfolio. I think we have something like 10 different motion detectors, 5 different types of door window contacts, indoor, outdoor, recessed, you name it, commercial, slim. So we're always kind of improving the PowerG lineup. That's something we're really proud of, as well as the S-Line lineup. Sometimes many of you guys still use the S-Line portfolio, and we make panels that are compatible with that. And then, of course, we're always widening and broadening our list of Z-Wave devices that we support, and working very closely with alarm.com and many of you to certify new devices as they come online and as you have unique business needs. So please continue to engage with us there as well. We're almost done, but I did want to kind of end with this comparison chart here, and you can find this on our website. We'll have it up here. It's actually on the IQ4 Hub page. So if you go to qualsys.com and look for IQ4 Hub, you will actually see this chart posted on that web page. We also have it in document format, which we'll be posting here a little bit later, so you can download a PDF if you prefer. But this does a really good job of kind of showing you a side-by-side of what's the same as well as what's different. So again, that 7-inch touchscreen, the 8-core processor, the dual path. You're choosing dual SRF versus single RF, and you get to choose that on IQ Hub or IQ Panel 4. Z-Wave Plus, Bluetooth streaming, few differences on the microphones there. So 1 versus 3. The camera, of course, is different. The panel glass break is different. We don't have panel motion on IQ4 Hub, and that's of course because that uses the camera and that's not there. They both have the same great battery with long battery life, the smart mount installation. Some of you have asked, I think in the chat, if IQ4 Hub is available with IQ Base. And again, that's that speaker mount I've got here. That's that speaker mount table stand that clicks into IQ Panel 4. So that's kind of a premium feature that we retained on IQ Panel 4. So IQ4 Hub does not support the speaker base, but it does support the regular table stand as well. And then black versus white. On the software side, all remains the same. They actually run the exact same software. So as we do software updates from 4.2.0 to 4.3.0, and as we're always adding new features over time, they both are going to get that simultaneously. They run the exact same software. Some differences on the speaker here, right? We've got 1 speaker and 1 siren versus 4 speakers. Zone count's the same, partition's the same, user code's the same, encrypted sensors, hardwired support. Two-way voice is a differentiator. So if you do two-way voice, IQ Panel 4 is the way to go. If you don't, you can consider IQ4 Hub instead. And they're both residentially and commercially certified. Both products are certified kind of across the board in both the US and Canada. I don't have the Canadian listings put here, but they are both certified across the board for residential and commercial in both countries.
S304 for ULC, S304 for Canada.
Yeah, thank you for that, Neil. Really appreciate that. So this is kind of the end of the webinar. I appreciate you guys staying on here. We've talked about a lot of different things today, and there's really a lot to like about both products. And with that, I'm gonna turn the time back to Whitney here to wrap us up.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. If you are still here, you are qualifying to win the IQ4 Hub. So what we're gonna do is at the end of this, I've got an employee named Will. He's gonna be reaching out to the winners separately, so he has time to kind of figure out who won, right? So be on the lookout to receive an email today from Will, and he'll get your shipping information and everything like that, and we'll get those out to you. And if you have any questions about how do I set this up, I've never done this before, by all means, let us know and we're here to help. So you should know today, and I'll be sending out an email with the recording as well from this webinar. So if you guys want to go back and watch it again, there have been so many questions. Neil has been on top of it. I think they've all been answered. So that's fantastic. But yeah, so we'll be reaching out with whether or not you won. Good luck. Eric, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story with the IQ4 Hub, and hopefully your insight has helped give some people here some ideas of what they want to do next. So thank you for your time, you guys. Really appreciate it. With that, we'll say goodbye and we'll see you next time. Thank you. See ya.
Bye, guys.